Tonight, another banner goes up in Philadelphia as the reigning Arena Football League champions celebrate their second straight title. Coach Clint Dolezal and quarterback Dan Radabaugh have been nearly unstoppable over the last 2 years. But last season, Baltimore hung the only L on Philly and is now led by last year's MVP, Randy Hippert. Two fantastic quarterbacks on banner night. Brigade and the Soul coming up next. Thank you.
Randy Hippert pensive in the pregame for the Baltimore Brigade. He'll be the man on the spot tonight inside the Wells Fargo Center. Hi, everybody. It's great to have you with us with the AFL Hall of Famer, Sed Bonner. I'm John Mita Perrell. Sed, you know what it's like as an ex-player to take part in a banner-raising ceremony and to celebrate your championship. What's going through the minds of the Soul pregame?
Well, if you listen to everything they talk to us about, they're moving forward with this season, but it is exciting. Your fans get to come in and celebrate it with you. It's a great time. You still have to keep perspective. The new season has started. You're one game in. You got to keep moving forward.
And the guy who they beat last year, quarterback for Tampa Bay, but now with Baltimore, Randy Hippert, one of the most consistent players in the league.
Really is. It has been a high-rated quarterback in this league for many years. Is now just scratching and getting over the top. Being one of those top-notch guys, was the AFL MVP last year, did a nice job last week spreading the ball around, using his legs when he needed to.
And Darius Prince has become an ultra weapon for Clint Dolezal and the Soul. What's he doing right?
He's doing everything. He's doing all the little things right. He's making the big catches when they need it. 12 catches, 112 yards, 3 touchdowns last year. Physical yards. He's the guy that's not going to surprise anybody. He's got to continue to raise his bar and keep his play high.
They'll need him to play high tonight. It will be the Soul and the Brigade. Should be a fantastic opening night. The new Arena Football League. It's coming up next on CBS Sports Network.
And welcome inside the Wells Fargo Center. A big one tonight in Philadelphia. The back-to-back champions of Arena Football League, the Philadelphia Soul, at 1-0 take on the 1-0 Baltimore Brigade. It's great to have you with us, everybody, on CBS Sports Network. A memorable night here for the fans at the Wells Fargo Center as they moments ago unfurled the 2017 World Championship banner. They won 44-40 against Tampa Bay last August to pick up another World Championship. Clint Dolezal, a tremendous head coach for the Soul. He is a bastion of consistency, and my partner Sed Bonner knows all about what he can do for a team at 71-25. And on the other side, Omar Smith, trying to work his way into the program for Baltimore. He says, we need to do a better job overall. It's my program, and I have to do a better job. 12-19, his career record, Sed Bonner. So this is a fascinating matchup. Good subplot.
Early on, it is a great matchup early on in the season. Two of the more talented teams, and I think Baltimore is as loaded as a team as I've seen in this league. Tons of talent. Top-notch quarterback. We're in for a good one.
And here's one off the bar. Poppy Livers trying to scamper out of the end zone, but he gets undone. Good special teams coverage by Baltimore. And Poppy Livers trying to establish himself as a kick returner in the early season for the Philadelphia Soul. You look at the Red Rocket, Dan Radabaugh won the MVP a couple years ago. 236 yards, 6 touchdowns at Albany last week.
He did a nice job. And I tell you what, the year he was the MVP, they came up short, did not win in the semifinal game, lost to Jacksonville. But he would have traded all for the championships, which he was able to go back and get the next 2 years. He's come a long way and continues to improve his game.
Radabaugh has the most rapid release in the league. And Radabaugh with a quick drop to the near side, a pass complete to Sean Kalena-Maku as he hits the barrier. Here are your offensive starters for the Soul. Always one of the best offenses in the league after a 9-yard gain. Jeremy Richardson, a big game last week. Prince, Kalena-Maku, and Reynolds. Wayne Tribute, All-Arena League last year. Tivis scored a touchdown last week after a bar ball recovery. And P.K. Manley is the tight end.
P.K. Manley, extremely athletic, big. They didn't use him last week in the passing game. I look for him to make his presence felt tonight.
Man in motion, Darius Reynolds with Radabaugh fading back, going for it all. Reynolds end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Second play of the game. Electrifying. What a throw by Radabaugh. The fans in Philadelphia accustomed to seeing that.
Tell you what, it's a post corner, but watch his stem vertically inside. And then he's able to break away, and he catches Virgil Gray sitting on the route. He's flat-footed, wasn't in his back pedal too long. I mean, just a terrific throw and catch, and what a way to start. Reynolds, who very slow first half last week, didn't get off until the second half of the game. Great start for him.
And they want to get him going early, Seth. We spoke to the coaches earlier today. We spoke to Dan Rodema. They said they want to get him involved very early. And the extra point is blocked as Trevino, the reigning kicker of the year, has it blocked. So another good special teams play. It's blocked by Justin Lawrence, formerly of the Philadelphia Soul.
Advancement, timeout.
Tell you what, this is a great effort. See Justin Lawrence, you know he's coming in here to play strong and hard tonight. Played for the Soul team. Was one of the top players for this team the last few years. But he beats Newell off the edge.
You get a look at the holder, Greg Mckee, the backup quarterback for Philadelphia. So you know how difficult it is, the installation for extra points, especially in this league. And Omar Smith said that was an aspect of their game last week he was very pleased with. Philadelphia, and Clint Dolzell was pleased as well.
Well, I think it's I don't want to say it's easier because the rush isn't coming as hard. You can't do stunts and twists and bring guys outside. You got to have a hat on, a hat up front. So if you bow up and get strong up front, you should be able to protect. So for guys to hold, this is probably the easiest holding job you'd have in this league.
So Philadelphia with a 6-0 lead after a 38-yard touchdown catch by Darius Reynolds. One of the best players in the league out of Iowa State. Adrian Trevino to kick off from the goal line. And look out, playing the wall for Baltimore, it's Brendan Tompkins.
This is almost unfair. It's an embarrassment of riches. You've got Brandon Tompkins, and Kendrick Ings doesn't even return. And he's a guy that was one of the top 2 in the league a year ago.
Oh, yeah, he was,
and he doesn't even return.
Every time he got the ball in his hands.
Albany would love to have that guy off the net.
Absolutely. Every time Ings got the ball in his hands, he was a threat to score. Trevino, the kickoff. And this one's into the slack net, so it'll be a touchback. They'll bring it back to the 20.
Well, that's the way you stop a guy from getting returns. He had a 29.8 average last week in the game.
And Tompkins is one of the top all-purpose players in the league. He was the playmaker of the year 2 years ago with Orlando. So Baltimore's turn on offense first, led by the reigning league MVP Randy Hippert out of the University of Virginia Wise. Hippert 6'3", 230, 5 touchdowns, no picks. And how about 2 rushing scores last week against Washington?
Well, that's something that's forgotten about his game. He's very athletic, can get out and make plays when he has to with his feet. But they're going with the smaller lineup right now. The Brandon Collins, Brandon Tompkins, along with Kendrick Ings. And I tell you, this is speed to burn right here. Every one of these guys can flat out fly.
It's the best core in arena football. As the man in motion is Brandon Tompkins. Hippert, the short drop, and he finds Tompkins across the middle to the 15 for 10 yards. As Joe Gooseby made the stop. Baltimore offensively with Nixon, good game last week, 27 yards. Quentin Sims, Tompkins, and Brandon Collins, who emerged. McNeil, Warren, and McCray up front. They love Brandon Collins.
They do love him. He's a very smooth route runner, effortless when he's running. Continues to improve. Played the last 4 games for the Brigade a year ago, and you see Sims' name up there, but they're going early on with Kendrick Ings, the smaller lineup.
Hippert straight back to pass the pump fake, and this one is dropped. Good defense, incomplete.
And this Randy gets greedy here. He has a takeoff route on the backside of the field. He wants a takeoff. He's got sit-down routes in the field. You see the pump fake? It doesn't work. He goes front side. You don't do that very often against this Philadelphia team, and that tells you exactly how much speed is on the field. That they're not jumping that route, going to intercept that ball.
And I think Collins felt the footsteps.
And that's one of those plays where he kind of relaxes.
Yeah. Collins split out to the bottom of your screen to the near side. Hippert straight back to throw. Another pump fake, flushed out of the pocket, looks out, lets it rip, and incomplete, intended for Collins. at the far side 11-yard line as Collins got tangled up. No flags. Again, good pressure by Philadelphia. James Romaine in coverage.
Well, again, they're allowing Philadelphia to get pressure because the plays are taking a long time. Randy back there has to make something happen. They ran another double move route down the field.
You're watching Arena Football at the Wells Fargo Center as the Baltimore Brigade are on the march, trailing Philadelphia 6-0, a 7-yard gain. And with Seth Bonner, I'm John Mita-Perrell, Randy Hippard, the quarterback for Baltimore. Huge year last year for the Tampa Bay Storm as they were 4 points away from winning the Arena Bowl. But Philadelphia took the title as they won back-to-back championships. So 4th down coming up, said, for Baltimore.
It's going to be tight coverage. It's going to be man-to-man. This is one of those plays you're going to get catch at the line. You see all the DBs right up front. Close proximity. They're not going to give up anything easy.
And some movement up front.
Offsides offense on the high motion man. It's a 10-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
On 4th and 3, that is a killer. Dave Kataya, the veteran referee.
That's one you can't have. You're in a manageable situation where they got to play it tight. Now you've given them a ton of space. 4th and 14, they can play off and play with some space. Now your speed still hurts you, but it's not as much of a factor as it was on 4th and 4.
The Soul defense gave up 35 points last week at Albany as they silenced the Empire in a raucous Times Union Center. A sellout crowd of over 13,000 as the Empire are back in the AFL. Hippard to throw. A dart, and it's caught. Past midfield. Good throw by Randy Hippard, hitting Kendrick Ings, his former favorite target at Tampa Bay.
This is a great dig route. Watch him flatten it out across the field. Randy throws it before he even makes his break. This is a great throw and catch. And he goes up and secures it enough for the 1st down, and that's something that's unique in our game. You will see a ton of 4th down plays that are gone for you. You won't pull out the kicker. You're going to leave the guys on the field and try and make plays with your playmakers.
You're not going to see many field goal attempts. Kendrick Ings, a 15-yard gain and the 1st down for the Brigade. Short drop for Hippard as he pump fakes again and throws it into the stands. So there's a souvenir for a Soul fan. You can keep the ball in the Arena Football League that lands in the seats. Philadelphia defensive starters. You're going to have to work in some newcomers up front. Thomas Dover, Dante Rump, Robert Hayes. He was played by the flu all week. Sheehy is the linebacker. The jack is Joe Gooseby. Romaine, Hollis, and Jones in the secondary. Torres Jones was the AFL Defensive Player of the Week.
Well, this shows you last year they were 1st in the league with sacks 32, tackles for loss 43. None in that 1st game. No sacks, no tackles for loss.
That's a concern of Clint Dolzell as Hippard flips one wide open and a walk-in touchdown with flair. Touchdown for Brandon Collins.
That's a California in him.
22 yards, said Bonner with some extra emphasis.
They're trying to cut the coverage from the backside. Watch the backside corner comes down with no help. He thinks he's got help over the top. He doesn't stay with his man and expect to get some help from Joe Gooseby, the jack, on the collision. Joe can't get over. There was enough spacing. That's a good job with spacing by Brandon Collins to not get washed down into the jack linebacker.
Park Lewis. The extra point is good. Lewis in his 14th year in the Arena Football League, so it's a 7-6 lead. Brandon Collins has made an impact early for the Brigade.
Football game, okay? We'll get this out of the way. This is the last time we're going to talk about last year, and we're moving on. All right, they're in our way right now. All right, they're feeling really good about themselves. They ain't beat us yet, so they ain't got nothing to feel good about. All right, go out and play your game. Do our thing. All right, stay together. Hey, 4 quarters, right? We win the game in the 4th quarter. That's when we used to take over football games, all right? Play smart, be together out there, and have fun. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Clint Dolzell says, you know what, we're off of last year. We're moving on. He flashed the ice to us in the parking lot before the game as we walked into the Wells Fargo Center. He said, check out my rings, boys. He's looking like Bill Belichick.
I don't know if he flashed them at us. That's not his style. However, we had to make him let us see those rings. But he had 2 of them on. That was shocking to me.
I know. Well, you got to bring it out, don't you?
Usually old Tex, every now and then, you got to show them off.
Why not?
Time for those things.
As Lewis with the kickoff and ricochet off the net. Poppy Livers trying to escape the end zone. He does before he hits the barrier out of bounds. So Poppy Livers with some frenetic moments for him. But the last drive for Philadelphia, Dan Rodabach, 2 completions, 47 yards, and the touchdown to Reynolds. It was quick.
Well, you got straight man-to-man. I don't know if he can find an easier read. They haven't thrown a mix of coverage at him yet. I know Ced Walker, the defense coordinator, is going to mix it up and throw some different looks at him. But they showed him straight man-to-man on that first possession. And as a quarterback in this league, if your guy can't win man-to-man, you need to get new guys. Money Reynolds can win.
Kalena Maku, the man in motion, and they're going that way. Kalena Maku past the 20 to the 22. 13-yard gain and a first down for the always reliable Sean Kalena Maku, 5'9", 185 pounds from Western Oregon. In his 8th year, he had 3 catches last week and 2 touchdowns against Albany.
Tell you what, he is Mr. Consistent. He might not always put up the huge numbers, but he's always going to make that big catch for you. He'll make a big block downfield for another receiver. Solid player, has been an asset for years here.
Rodaba under Wayne Tribune in the handoff. Straight up the middle. At midfield, Jeremy Richardson, defensive starters for the Brigade. Just 2 yards for Richardson on the dive. You look at Dexter Jackson, former linebacker from Tampa. And he's joined in that group by Lamarck Brown, who plays the jack. Obi Powell and Gray, the secondary, with Taylor Lawrence and LaFrance up front. Justin Lawrence, a good addition. Another guy who's been around in the Arena Football League. He has 16 career sacks.
I'll tell you what, career year last year, along with Bo Bell being the defensive MVP, large part because of him.
Short drop by Rodaba to Reynolds, and he took a lick past the 10 as the ball went incomplete. Good stick by Fred Obi playing coverage. And also, number 4 in white, Baltimore's Virgil Gray. We'll get to him in a moment, but last week it was dicey for Darius Reynolds in the end zone. Ended up hurting his neck. He had to leave the game. They were uncertain about his status throughout the week.
It was a tough landing up against the wall, and those boards, people tell you all the time, they're undefeated. It's
you
tough.
would know.
It's tough down there to go full speed into that wall. Exactly what he did, but he's out here tonight.
6 catches and 70 yards in week 1. Rodaba, the quick out to Kalena Maku on the near side barrier. 10 yards for SK. Another timing throw, the precise timing throws of Dan Rodaba. We spoke with Omar Smith earlier. He said, we got to get him off his spot, out of his rhythm. How do you do it?
Tell you what, that's one where he tried to give him one there because he missed 2 guys. He could have thrown the bench route on the top side of the field or the go route to Reynolds with just a little shoulder and throw it up the field. But Dan, the reason I like watching him play is because he's extremely patient. He's not going to try to get something before it's ready. He'll take his time and work down the field.
Darius Prince is in motion. And Rodaba with some pressure. This time he overthrows Darius Reynolds. That was there for the taking. Could have been another touchdown, but he was backpedaling, and Rodaba that time was flustered.
That's a blown coverage, but watch the pressure by Justin Lawrence. Everybody standing there. Somebody else tell me they're going to stand in there with that guy bearing down at your feet and not back up. He's never able to set his feet. Really good swim move there by Jay Law. I tell you, they know exactly what kind of player he is. And coming back here to play in this building against his former team, he's definitely going to have a big game.
Well, they're going to miss him in Philadelphia this year. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Good numbers for the Soul, including 10 sacks in the last couple of years. On second down, right about the quick hit to Reynolds. Past the 5, inside the 5 to the 4. Well done. Darius Reynolds, another reception.
That's that physicality. He was able to stick it in a tight window, be extremely accurate so his guy can protect himself and get upfield. You see Adrian Ferns comes in the ball game. They're going to run one big here.
They're trying to work Ferns in more at fullback to alternate with Jeremy Richardson, who could be an Ironman playing both ways for Clint Dolezal.
Valuable player.
Oh yeah, he thinks he could be their most valuable player at the end of the year when it's all said and done. Now the give to Reynolds, trying to sprint outside towards the end zone. He lost the ball.
He tried to stick it out.
He did, and Fred Obie, I think, came up with it for Baltimore. So Reynolds trying to sweep around the end, and a turnover. Fred Obie does come up with a football. 4th year out of San Diego. Big game for him last week with 5.5 tackles and a pass breakup. But Darius Reynolds trying to reach for the goal line. Always problematic. 7 plays, but no points for Philadelphia on the drive. And it's Brigade ball coming back after this. Now you can get 24/7 scores, breaking news, and up-to-the-minute highlights streaming across devices live and free on the all-new CBS Sports HQ.com. With Seth Bonner, I'm John Mita-Perrell. Great to have you with us on CBS Sports Network. Fun night inside the Wells Fargo Center as Baltimore beat Philadelphia last year. That was with Shane Carden, a quarterback, a rookie out of East Carolina. But Omar Smith said he's happy he has a veteran quarterback now that knows what he's doing, a guy that's composed and can make the right call in Hibbert.
A guy that's played in big games. And you know, Randy's come a long way, man. He's done an outstanding job of getting better and trying to be extremely serious about what he's doing out there on the field.
And the pump fake, 4 yards deep in the end zone, and it's caught by Tompkins.
And that right there says it all. You have not been able to go back, drop back in the end zone, wait for a guy to run 20 yards down the middle of the field, decide you don't want to throw to him, and throw it to the other side of the field because of the likes of Bo Bell, the Sean Daniels, the Zach Zidians, the Justin Lawrences. They need to find a way to put pressure on the opposing quarterbacks.
And that's the end of the first quarter. So the 2-time defending champion Philadelphia Soul trailing by a point. Clint Dolezal will have things to contemplate coming back for the second quarter on CBS Sports Network after this. Start of the second quarter coming up with Baltimore leading Philadelphia by a point. John Mita-Perrell and Seth Bonner. I'm honored to be joined by 2 Hall of Famers tonight. Downstairs we go to one of the greatest receivers in AFL history, Randy Gaywood, with Ron Jaworski.
Jaws, back-to-back ring ceremony, everything tonight. Talk about how it feels to be back-to-back champions again.
First of all, congratulations to our coaches and our players. They made it happen. It's hard to win at any professional level. Our guys deserve all the credit. Great football players and great human beings.
The new Arena Football League right now. Talk a little bit about where we're headed, kind of the direction, and how you see this thing going.
I couldn't be more excited about the future of the Arena Football League. 4 terrific teams right now. I've got great partners in Washington and in Baltimore and Albany. We're going to grow this league into something special. This league has survived for 31 years because it's a great game. We're going to make it even greater.
I like it. The ambassador of Philly right here, Ron Jaworski. Back to you, John.
All right, thank you, Randy. Money ball by Hibbert again to Brandon Collins. That's his second touchdown of the night. It was a thing of beauty, 38-yard hit. Hibbert to Collins. Get used to hearing that. Baltimore fans might have a new favorite connection.
Again, another double move route. He's coming all the way from the backside out of dead set, which means there's no motion, but it takes a long time. And finally, Robert Hayes able to get home, but just a half a second late.
And the extra point attempt by Mark Lewis. As Baltimore leads 14-6. Collins has 2 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's been explosive for the Brigade as Philadelphia is on its heels. 14-6 Baltimore with 14:10 remaining in the first half, and you're looking at number 17 Brandon Collins, who is already on his way to a big night with 2 touchdowns, including moments ago a 38-yarder, and last week they spread the ball around. Everybody caught a touchdown. 8 different players scored. That's the first time they can remember in at least recent arena history that's happened.
Yeah, and listen, I think Philly expected to see Quentin Sims, some of the bigger players, Milton Williams, the big tall players.
Bar ball, Philadelphia trying to bring it back, and good special teams coverage by the Baltimore Brigade as Quentin Sims makes the stop.
The one thing that Philly loves to do is Philly loves to play man-to-man coverage. And when you've got a bunch of burners out there, every one of those guys that are in the lineup right now can fly, can run. It makes it tough, puts a lot of pressure on you.
1 yard line for Philadelphia. Inauspicious field position for Dan Rodabaugh. If you're just joining us for the first time on our Arena Football League coverage, this just in, no lead is safe.
Oh, come on, man. Are we talking about a lead right now?
Exactly. That's absolutely nothing. Rodabaugh to a fan in the stands who makes a nice grab. Souvenir for the fan at the Wells Fargo Center. And look, he takes a bow, too. I think he just dabbed.
Oh, don't dab. That was last year and the year before.
I know, that's so 2016.
Yeah, you can't be dabbing. Come on.
I think you should collapse like Brandon Collins did in the end zone.
Like, I can't do no more. I'm done. I'm out.
I would have paid to watch you dab back in the day.
No, that didn't happen.
You could have been a trend center.
Nope.
You and Randy Gatewood. As Rodabaugh flips one. And good catch. Past the 5 to the 7-yard line goes SK Sean Kalenamaku playing pinball. You get a sense that Baltimore playing with much more tenacity in the early going than Philadelphia said.
Listen, they came in here just as if Philly went into Albany last week in that packed house. Your inaugural game, you want to invite the world champs in on your inaugural game?
Yeah.
They came in here when they're raising the banner. That gives you a little extra juice, especially when half of these guys played for Tampa Bay last year and had to suffer through that game where they had an early lead and lost it.
Darius Reynolds to the 14. Went in trouble. Go to Darius, 7-yard gain, and the stop made by Virgil Gray, 5th-year defensive back from Rhode Island. Tampa exodus. Tampa no longer in the AFL, but they bring Randy Hipper, Lamar Brown, Kendrick Ings, Dexter Jackson, and Mark Lewis to Baltimore. Also, Monte Lewis part of that list.
Absolutely, and those guys were in this building losing a championship when they were up 21-7. So there's a lot of payback. Philly's been good for a long time.
Rodabaugh the deep drop this time. Oh, what a catch inside the 5. Darius Prince. No catches in the first quarter. But, man, welcome to the building. 35 yards, first down and goal. Upcoming for the Soul.
I tell you what, that's about the 3rd time in his short span of playing this game. That's about the 3rd time I've seen him leave his feet to get an extra couple of feet out of his length and stride. And he just has a knack of tracking that ball down, like a center fielder out there trying to run down a ball and dives. He looks so pretty doing it.
Well, last time Philadelphia fans saw him, it was in the Arena Bowl last August, and he was the MVP with 2 touchdowns. So Rodabaugh on 1st and goal to give to Jeremy Richardson, who fights for yardage, but he gets stymied. Good pressure up front by Dexter Jackson. Also helping the cause was Royce LaFrance out of Tulane.
And all I could say to Jay Rich right now is do not, or anyone else out there, do not stick that ball out. Try to reach out across the goal line. Maintaining possession is far more important right now than trying to get that score by reaching it across.
You know, who was the best at that, especially last year, Michael Benson. He's no longer with the Soul. Was claimed by Baltimore, but he has yet to join the Brigade. So 2nd and goal. Rodabaugh sends Reynolds in motion. Another give to Richardson towards the goal line. Jeremy Richardson reaches for it. And the Soul are on the board again. Short yardage specialist Jeremy Richardson capitalizes with 6.
It's a good play. They start him in offset. Something you don't normally see. Comes from the backside. But Lewis goes inside. He allows PK Manley to get right up top on the Jack linebacker. That's a good job.
What a great block on Lamarck Brown. Brown playing both ways, an Ironman. 6-play, 49-yard drive. Trevino to attempt the extra point. Trevino was 8 for 8 last week. Missed a field goal with flags. Procedure. As Dave Kataya sorts it
Prior
out.
snap, false start, offense. 77, 5-yard penalty.
That's on Neil Tivis. 6'5", 330-pound offensive lineman from Abilene Christian. Tivis with a touchdown last week, his first career score off the bar ball.
He couldn't believe that no one from Albany picked that ball up. It bounced and
That was
like,
bizarre.
This is coming right to me.
That's a live ball. So some extra yardage for the extra point attempt for Trevino, the reigning Arena Football League kicker of the year. And he hits it. So it's a 1-point lead for Baltimore after Jeremy Richardson hits the end zone. 8:59 left in the first half.
Strap in for the ride of your life with the world's fastest racers in extreme sports, hitting speeds up to 60 miles per hour. Don't miss the Amsoil Snowcross National today on CBS Sports Network.
Arena football is back in Charm City. Watch every Baltimore Brigade game this season at Royal Farms Arena and help us build towards a championship brick by brick.
Touchdown, Baltimore.
You don't want to miss any of the hard-hitting action. Tickets start as low as $14. Visit BaltimoreBrigade.com to get yours today.
We're out of Bud Light.
Let the Bud Light flow once again. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. We need a fresh keg here too. It's really loud in my face.
A keg of Bud Light is changed every 6 seconds. Enjoy it fresh.
Baltimore leads the reigning champion Philadelphia Soul 14-13. Downstairs between the benches to Randy Gatewood with Jeremy Richardson, who just scored a 1-yard touchdown.
Jay Rich, normally the skill guys get all the glory, but you was able to take it in from 1 yard out. Talk to us about what happened.
Well, we've got a great receiving core with a mixture of talent. Coach Dozell, he has a great offense that he runs that gives everybody opportunity to get a chance to be successful in his offense. We got it down to the 2-yard line. I didn't get it in on first down. Coach trusts me to get it in on second down, and this is my job. That's what I'm going to do.
I was looking for the extreme touchdown celebration. You held back on me.
Nah, I don't have anything extreme for these guys. I'm here to fight, and if they want to fight, we should just fight. But other than that, I'm here to be here for my team and do my part.
Sounds good. Thanks. Back to you, John.
Jay Rich is a straight up dog. Like, he is a guy that will grind it out. I love that about him.
He just wants to fight. If they want to fight, why not?
Uh-oh.
At the wall, Brandon Tompkins. He's electric. And he gets dragged down at the 13, but always a threat with the ball in his hands. You know that Clint Dalzell all week said, let's try to keep it out of his hands at any time.
Yeah, well, you've got to, first things first, you've got to hit the net. You've got to hit the net, especially with this guy. If he's got a chance to catch on a free run,
yeah.
I mean, you're fortunate to get him there for a 13-yard return.
Randy Hippert off to a terrific start. 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 of the last 3 possessions were scores. As you'd expect from the league MVP last season. He's playing with the utmost confidence now. He's a student of the game. And he really didn't know what was going to happen in the offseason. It was uncertain for him, like many players in the Arena League, wondering what was going to occur. Where would they land? And he's landed in a good spot. Baltimore, the screen to Rory Nixon past the 15 to the 17. Nixon is a diverse fullback and do a lot of things. Joe Gooseby on the stop after a 4-yard gain.
Well, that's a good gain on first down. Keep him off balance. Good call. Force Joe Gooseby to get involved. I'll tell you what, he's going to be active. He's going to understand. Unlike Lamarck Brown, Joe Gooseby has a ton of experience and knows exactly what he's looking at from an offensive standpoint. One of the better jacks to ever do it.
He's a future Hall of Famer, 6'1", 235 from Tulane in his 9th year. Hippard going to the far side this time, trying to run inside is Milton Williams as he approaches midfield with Romaine on the stop. 7 yards for Milton Williams, who Hippard told us today they want the ball in his hands because he goes up and he gets it. He's determined to make every catch.
Yeah, he says that's a compliment that any receiver wants to hear, and it makes a quarterback confident that you're going to go up and attack the ball. He was able to play with the likes of Joe Hills, you know, guys like that had those traits and those tendencies, and he's found another one in Milton Williams, and now they're going with the bigger lineup. Quentin Sims, 6'3", can fly, great route runner.
The man in motion is Sims. Hippard, the pump fake, coming to the near side end zone and broken up. Intended for Williams. Pass is a bit underthrown, but good coverage by Philadelphia.
Well, he got there late. Torres gets here a little bit late. However, Randy's late on the throw as well. Ball comes out late. He's looking at something else, and then he doesn't high point it to the big fella because it was one of those, you know, bad body position throws. He wasn't able to get everything on it. But a good job of continuing to play through the play, hustling back to break that up.
Yeah, James Romaine in his 6th year from Delaware State, 2 tackles and an interception at Albany last week. 2nd down and 10. Hippard, the deep drop with some time. Oh, good throw to the 15 and Milton Williams, who hangs on in heavy coverage. Stop was made by Torres Jones after 12 yards, but he can distribute anywhere.
Watch right here. This dead route forces Torres to come in, and he's able to get in and get a hat on Milton Williams. I mean, that's a tough catch. Really good throw, but way to concentrate, man, because he, woo.
Yeah,
that's where having that size helps.
Wouldn't want to be part of that sandwich.
Randy would have came back to the huddle and smacked me all upside the head for that one.
Hippard again, pump fake, end zone, wide open touchdown. Quentin Sims. Oh, 15 yards. Randy Hippard, have yourself a first half. He has come to play in the city of brotherly love.
Tell you what, you get some guys that are used to playing a ton of man coverage, and all of a sudden you mix in some zone and some switch. But the problem there was James Romaine's eyes were in the backfield. He was kind of lost playing in no man's land, and knowing he expected help outside, and no one was able to get back deep.
And Mark Lewis with a good extra point. 5 plays, 37 yards, 15-yard touchdown for Quentin Sims, his 2nd touchdown of the year. And he deserves to celebrate with Milton Williams. Baltimore riding high in Philly. Quentin Sims moments ago with a 15-yard touchdown catch for the Brigade as they lead by 8 with 4:26 remaining in the first half at the Wells Fargo Center. He said Bonaram, Jamita Perel, Randy Gatewood is between the benches. Our producer Adam Coppinger and an outstanding crew. Good to have you with us on CBS Sports Network as Mark Lewis will tee it up from the goal line. Look out, extra onside kick attempt, and it's batted out of bounds. There are flags though, but Lewis is the best onside artist in arena history.
Offsides on the kicking team, number 11. Penalty after this is the goal. First down.
So Philadelphia with terrific field position after Baltimore has scored on each of its possessions thus far. 3 for 3. They were 9 for 9 last week. So 12 for 12 this season. That is a staggering number.
I don't see now the difference between you and I'm not going to mention that Because it's like a pitcher in a perfect game. I'm not going to say that.
All right.
You just don't realize, man. Do you realize what you've done?
You're going to blame it on me when they don't score.
I'm blaming it on you already.
Well, all right. I'll remember that, Sid. Baltimore leading by 8. We'll take another timeout. The toughest sport on dirt continues next with night 2 of the Stanley Performance in Action Invitational. The 25th PBR Unleash the Beast Series continues right here on CBS Sports Network. Randy Hippert has thrown the ball to 6 different receivers thus far. Dan Rodabaugh 3 different receivers. Good field position for the Soul after the failed onside kick attempt. We expect to see that a couple times from Baltimore, and Omar Smith with a new weapon in Mark Lewis. As Rodabaugh under his center Wayne Tribune. Straight back to throw, dumps it off. It's caught by Richardson, and he carries to the 10. Gain of 3 yards as Royce LaFrance makes the stop. Rookie from Tulane. But an important drive, said. They're all important.
They are. And listen, they're not back-to-back champs for no reason. They have a nucleus of guys that understand how to prepare and how to do it. So you're going to have to really beat this team. They're going to come out and continue to play. We're going to have a nice one here tonight.
It's going to be like that all year. And to the end zone, Darius Prince. He hangs on at the wall. 10 yards, touchdown. When in doubt, hit the Prince in the back of the end zone.
The Fresh Prince of Philadelphia, man. That guy. Tell you, this is a catch technique up front by Virgil Gray, and he stabs inside and goes right around. Dan ready for it. And puts it up early. Doesn't even leave the line of scrimmage. Just punches foot out and puts it up quick. And that's how fast it happens. But the strong hands, because Virgil Gray was all over it, trying to rip that ball out. The strong finish from the Fresh Prince.
That was good coverage by Virgil Gray, who's missed the last 2 years. Now has come back. There's Trevino with the extra point. 21-20 Baltimore after a 2-play, 13-yard drive and a 10-yard touchdown from Darius Prince, his second score of the night. Philadelphia, the city of champions, started with the Philadelphia Soul. The back-to-back Arena Bowl champions. Who can forget the Eagles and the barn burner against the Patriots in Super Bowl 52. And then Villanova setting the world on fire again. Second championship and 3rd year under Jay Wright. So Philadelphia, and right now in this building, there's a lot of electricity. You got the Flyers still alive. 76ers won a big one today, and they're coming back home. So it's a good city if you're a sports fan. There's no doubt about that.
Flyers won last night. I mean, come on, man.
Phillies won last night.
They're kind of in fuego right now. The city is on fire with sports. It really is.
Good city to be a quarterback too. Dan Rodabaugh, Nick Foles, and Carson Wentz.
Pretty good guys. Pretty good guys.
Not too shabby, but a good counterpunch too by Rodabaugh, as you'd expect. As he hit Darius Prince in the back of the end zone, and Rodabaugh, best composure in the league at QB, and we highlighted Darius Prince in our open, and Prince is just another target. It's an embarrassment of riches.
It is, and that's the great thing about the new Arena Football League. Every team is loaded, as we can see the onside kick.
And it can bring it back. Touchdown, Baltimore. That's where it becomes dicey as Baltimore brings it back.
Joe Powell. Big game last week. Defensive back. That was too easy for him. Trevino didn't get enough spin on it, and Baltimore scores the touchdown.
Well, Baltimore gets the ball to start the second half. So Philly, you know, they give themselves another opportunity here. But I'm sure they didn't want to give up a quick score like that.
No.
An easy one. Because they've kind of had to fight for everything.
And Mark Lewis will attempt another extra point and silence the crowd.
And possibly another onside kick.
Could be.
I mean, he's masterful at it. This is about that time of the game where you start trying to grind out extra possessions.
Kick is good. 8-point lead for Baltimore. Powell was the defensive player of the game against Washington last week. 2 years in the league, 5 tackles and a fumble recovery. Cup of coffee in the NFL for him.
Tell you what, had forced 2 or 3 turnovers in the first 2 games last year and then got hurt. He was off to a great start when he was in Cleveland a year ago and just playing lights out, then got banged up and really didn't make an impact for the rest of the year. But, you know, I was talking to Sed Walker about him, the defense coordinator. He loves the way he plays, and he's a tough kid and wants to get better.
That's secondary with Obi, Powell, Virgil Gray, Willie Bailey's a rookie they're high on. Bailey from Florida. Omar Smith says he has NFL caliber talent. If he pieces it together, look out. So they're stacked.
Even Clint said it. Like, they have the most talent next to them or right there with them, even more than them, that he's seen in this league in a long time. I'm talking about top to bottom. We haven't even gotten a chance to see Willie Bailey. You talked about a 6'2" corner that can run and cover anybody that's still just learning the game. Omar Smith has really set himself up here to put a good stamp on this season. He's got some tremendous players. He's got a great backup quarterback that's a true professional. So he's in really good spot right now. This team is still getting to know each other. Only going to get better.
Mark Lewis with the extra onside kick attempt, and this one is gathered in at the 14-yard line. Good play by Adam Washer, who had 6 tackles, or Aaron Washer rather, had 6 tackles on special teams last week. Another guy that Clint Dolezal is high on out of Michigan State. First down, so the onside kick does not work, but doesn't surprise me that they went to it as we approach the 1-minute warning.
Yeah, they're trying to grind out extra possessions. Give yourself extra opportunities on the offensive side.
And a good first half for Baltimore, led by Randy Hippert, distributing the ball effectively, and they have an 8-point lead over the Soul. Coming up on our halftime show, we'll break down AFL quarterbacks, 4 future Hall of Famers. We'll also give you highlights and stats from Philadelphia's Wells Fargo Center. And Baltimore has silenced the Loyalists in Philadelphia as the Brigade, for the time being, hold a 28-20 lead, but good field position inside the 15 for Philadelphia. Dan Radaba, MVP a couple years ago, sends Sean Kalinamaku in motion. A quick hit and a good tackle on Darius Prince.
Timeout.
The stop was made by Virgil Gray, and Baltimore takes a timeout. There's 56 seconds left in the half.
We saw this play last week a couple of times. They were able to score on this quick screen a little bit closer in, but that's good recognition. Good recognition up front by Virgil Gray to attack that play and shut it down as we get a look at the QBs. And we talked about, or we will talk about at halftime, the great quarterback play in this league. And I mean, do we need to say any more? I mean, look at those numbers.
Yeah, I would think that's pretty much all you need to know, just looking at those numbers. That means efficiency.
Right, I mean, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, there's a guy who dominated this league for a long time.
I ain't going to say all that. I mean, I had to play Clint Dolezal, Andy Kelly. I had to play
Rocky Top Andy Kelly.
Week.
I know
every week. It was
a testament to your ability, though. You're being bashful. Tackle. And Darius Reynolds inside the 5 as Reynolds had to come back for the ball. They spot him down at about the 5.5. Reynolds was frustrated in the early going in Albany last week. They got him involved early tonight. And a rare rush for Darius Reynolds as he fumbled that resulted in a Baltimore touchdown. And Reynolds trying to run around the end, but fumbled as Obi picked it up for Baltimore. And then the next play, Randy Hippert capitalizes just like that to Brandon Collins, wide open.
Wide open. Backside route where he is in no motion. He's standing flat-footed, but that just shows you the speed that they have to burn. And I used to love, as a quarterback, running guys with no motion because everyone wants to center their defense around the motion man.
Yep.
That's how they play off of that to go to whatever covers they're going to. But when you send a guy dead set, send motion away,
You got guys that can win from dead set. It's awesome.
4 catches for Reynolds in the first half. On 3rd and 2. Short drop, Rodaba, end zone. Touchdown, Darius Reynolds. Oh, don't deny that threat. 5-yard touchdown, flipped by Rodaba. And it's a 2-point ball game with 45 seconds remaining in the half. Reynolds, 5th catch, 68 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It was a good job. They used motion away, and they split one. And we talked about the little quick screen they ran twice last week. We saw up front Virgil Gray, a little flat-footed out front.
It's going to be difficult for Gray coming back after 2 years off and playing tonight in Philadelphia against some of the best receivers in the league, and still trying to regain his footing. Trevino.
Well, this game is built for offensive guys to win. I mean, if you can get a couple stops, that was our motto. This is going to go back to arena football, but right here, the point setter right here is going to just stock and then take off to the back of the end zone. Watch him work and watch the eyeballs go right to the backfield by the 2 defenders and to the receiver, and they give him an edge. Bad communication, it just makes it easy.
Reynolds just breezed by him. The old head turn, and Reynolds took advantage of it.
See, that was the thing. He gave him a little bit of head turn like he was going to block, and out the gate, it was over. Dan's got such a quick release. He's expecting that look.
Well, the second of 12 games at the Wells Fargo Center. This crowd is back in it. You could hardly hear yourself talk last week in Albany, said, as you and Brent Stover and Ari Wolf did a terrific job as the Empire will welcome back to the league. Be up there again in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
And you love it because awesome. You love playing there as well. I heard you last week talk about the energy you got playing quarterback. Even as an opponent, you fed off that.
Oh yeah, when you can, your main goal was to make them be quiet.
Yeah.
Period. Make them be quiet. If you can make them be quiet, or where you can have a conversation and not worry about it, you know there's no trouble.
How about this onside kick attempt? Engulfed by Milton Williams. Not a bad effort, though, by Trevino. And Clint Dalzell trying to pull out all the stops towards the end of the first half. Second quarter, there's been 42 combined points. This has the feel of whoever has the ball last will win the game.
I think it's pretty much going to be that. And that's, like I said, that's the way it was when you had all these great quarterbacks, Aaron Garcia, Clint Dalzell, you had all these guys, Matt DeRazio, you had all these guys that could play, Tony Graziani, you had all these guys that could play well week in and week out. You had to take care of your business.
Quick hitter to Milton Williams at the barrier. Picks up 3 yards. Hippard taking a page out of Rodaba's playbook with the quick release. 2 seconds and out. That's pretty much the bylaw for a quarterback in the AFL.
It is. Randy likes to stretch that, though. Randy likes to get a good look at what he wants to see and let it go. And in years past, you haven't been able to do that against Philadelphia. Tonight, it's been a different story.
Hippard with some pressure and incomplete. Good coverage by James Romaine on Quentin Sims, who caught a touchdown earlier. They had him backpedaling for one of the rare times. That's the second pass breakup for James Romaine, one of the better defensive backs in the league.
Yeah, that's a solid piece of coverage, but look up front. This is why you're able to get home. Happens a little bit late, but you're able to get home. The more you put hits on a guy, the more he's not going to want to hold on to it longer.
Jeremy Richardson is on the defensive line for the Philadelphia Soul. He scored earlier from 1 yard out, an Ironman playing both ways. 7. Hippard, a deeper drop towards the end zone, and flags. Flags everywhere, as it was intended for Brandon Tompkins.
Very good. Hollis on the hold. As Tompkins goes for the corner route, he's
holding defense number 22. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down. Baltimore's declined the option to add time.
Clint Dalzell clearly upset.
It's going to be Hollis, who's right here. Right here. Tompkins is going to run the post corner. Watch the inside stem, and then once he goes back to the corner, he won't let go. He's got him, and he won't let him out.
Dwayne Hollis, his third year from North Carolina Wesleyan. Team high 7 tackles last week. 5'10", 180. Problematic field position for the Soul defense. The toss sweep to Rory Nixon, and he's stifled. Fierce pressure around the end. Jeremy Richardson helping the cause.
So Sheehy makes this play on the edge. Watch Sheehy cut off the angle. Look at him, upfield shoulder, coming from that outside backer position, or that inside linebacker position. Gets to the edge. No one's able to get to the second level to cut him off. And he just flows to the ball.
Also Robert Hayes, who was flu plagued this week. They said he was really hurting on the bus home last week after the game from the ride from Albany. 6'2", 270 pounds from Shepherd in his 4th year. And I can only imagine the agony he had to deal with on that bus ride.
Listen, when you looked at it before the season started, Sean Daniels was a guy that had 8 sacks last year. He was a big part of that great defensive charge. He's out for the year with an injury. You bring in Robert Hayes, another guy had 8 sacks last year for this Baltimore team. They thought they were going to have a nice front. Their guess was going to be in the middle. They needed to get something up front and in the middle. And now they're trying to figure it out. They've got Jay Rich there at the nose guard right now trying to get some speed.
And flags again.
False start offense number 63. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
False start on Jordan McCray, tight end from Central Florida.
He even had a catch last week.
He did. Randy Hippert said he's just Switzerland. He's a guy that just needs to manage this offense, make sure everybody's happy.
Well, I mean, listen. These are elite athletes at the receiver spot. Everyone's not going to be happy, but if they've got the right frame of mind, the team mind, they don't care as long as the W is on the board at the end of the night.
It's tough to keep guys focused throughout the year, as you know. Everybody wants their catches. Hippard rifles one to the near side, and it's caught as Milton Williams has a gain of 6 yards.
It shows you
3rd and goal.
Shows you his awareness as a young player. A lot of times you see guys, you get a look at this astounding stat line from a week ago. I mean, that's incredible. And then you look at your quarterback, also had 3 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, come on, man. That's outstanding.
Couldn't ask for better. They racked up 270 yards, 232 through the air. Movement.
Free play.
I think Richardson moved. Hippard to the end zone. And incomplete.
It's not going to be, there's going to be time added on it. If I'm going to throw one up in the air, I think I'm looking Milton Williams' way. I don't know if BT's a fast guy. He can run. He's going to make the catches. But I'm throwing it up to my 6'3" guy that can go up top.
Yeah, I'd give him a chance. Brandon Tompkins was the target.
Offsides, defense number 3. It's a 5-yard penalty. Since it's a live ball, the half will be extended by an untimed down.
So another chance for Baltimore.
Right up front, Jay Rich, right in front of the ball. Right there. Trying to get in there and make that play. And he is taking it back to true Iron Man tonight. Starting at the fullback spot, playing nose guard. But that's just what he'll do, the invaluable things that this kid will do for you when he's on your team.
Hey, Randy Gatewood was an Iron Man.
Absolutely. He was the best in my book.
3rd and goal. Final play of the half. Hippard. End zone. Sims can't bring it down.
Sims got away with a push off there as well. That's good job competing by Rowe. James Romaine.
Entertaining first half in Philadelphia. Baltimore with a 1-point lead. This one has the look of a classic at the Wells Fargo Center, and Randy Gatewood has Omar Smith.
Coach Smith, how pleased are you with your team's performance thus far?
If we would have completed that last play, I'd be very pleased, but I'm not. We need to execute on that. That play could be the difference in the game. So we got to come back out. We got to execute and be detailed.
How have you managed to slow down this potent Philly offense tonight?
I don't think we really slowed it down. You know, they're a little bit off rhythm, but they're scoring points. We need to get some stops.
Sounds good. Good luck to you. John?
All right, Randy, thank you.
You know, he's exactly right, because that's a huge play there. In a 1-point game, you got a chance to put points on the board and get the ball coming out the half. We will see if it will hurt him in the second half.
On banner night in Philadelphia, 1-point lead for the Brigade.